This commenter wants to know if there's a word for when you develop an attraction towards someone only after they've shown interest in you first. And there is a word for that. Actually, there's two, depending on which kind of attraction you're talking about, between romantic or sexual attraction. The words are recipromantic and reciprosexual. I'm not really sure which kind this person is asking about, so I'll talk about both in this video. First, let's talk about recipromantic. Recipromantic is part of the aromantic spectrum, and it means when you experience romantic attraction only after somebody showed you romantic attraction first. The other word is reciprosexual, which is similar in definition in that it's when you experience sexual attraction towards someone after they've displayed sexual attraction towards you first. Reciprosexual is part of the asexual spectrum. Both are perfectly valid parts of the human experience. When I was first uncovering my own place in the aromantic spectrum, this is actually a term that I investigated for myself. Because in my experiences, I never asked anybody else out first. Not really, there were some times that I thought I should, so I did, but I never really developed relationships unless it was mutual or that person showed interest in me first. This was especially true in high school and college. I needed somebody to show that they were interested in me because I just didn't see it that way. It's not that I didn't see the person entirely, but I think part of it was seeing myself as somebody that could be liked. That was something that I struggled with. But looking back, I know that when I thought I was reciprocating romantic attraction, it was more platonic. It was either I wasn't interested in the person even after I learned that they were into me, or I thought that I was into them, but I just saw them as a really good friend. And sometimes those friendships actually worked out. Not every time, but sometimes they did. For me, it's definitely not true about my asexual side, though. I'm not reciprosexual, and I know this because I've never experienced sexual attraction. Even though there have been people that have thrown themselves at me and shown me that they were into me that way. Even so, I think one thing that reciprosexual and recipromantic have in common as a stigma is that people who are reciprosexual or recipromantic are thought of as oblivious. And that's not necessarily the case. They just didn't necessarily know somebody was into them that way. And it doesn't mean that they're oblivious to the signs. Could just be that the signs weren't that obvious. I think it's easy for people to say that someone's oblivious to signs when they're used to experiencing attraction all the time anyway. But when you're aromantic or asexual and attraction isn't a constant in your experience, yeah, signs are going to be harder, naturally. The things that are supposed to be obvious to someone that would experience it all the time and knows what to look for can't really compare themselves in that way to somebody that's aromantic or asexual, because when you don't experience it consistently, you're not necessarily going to know how it's going to feel constantly for yourself. And that's perfectly fine. The idea that it's an obliviousness is something that we really need to work out completely. Aromantic folks and asexual folks, whether they're recipromantic and reciprosexual or anywhere else on their respective spectrums, they deserve respect. I hope this helped answer your question. And if you have other questions, I'm all ears. Please go ahead and ask them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and let's continue to learn and grow together.